Hello and welcome to the Spargur Yarn Crafts podcast channel. My name is Will Spargur. I am your host. I am coming to you from Henderson, Nevada, where I live with my two dogs, Princess and Duchess, my roommate Delilah and her dog Duke. And today is episode 47. I have just returned from Stitches SoCal 2019 over in Pasadena, California. Very, very exciting time. I had a great time, so I have a lot to show you. I also have a couple of works in progress and a finished object to show you. So I'm actually filming back with my phone today because all of my camera batteries are dead. And on top of that, I have so much to show you that I don't want to keep having to stop and restart the video. So we're just going to go right into this. If you are new to my channel, you can find all of my social media links below. You can also find everything about my dyeing company, Spargur Yarn Co, in the video description box below. If you are looking to navigate around through the podcast for the things that interest you, you can find timestamps in there as well. And if I do any life updates, I will do those at the end so as not to bog down the podcast with all of the things that you may not be interested in. So those will be at the end. I actually don't have any today, so you won't have to worry about that. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. We are going to jump into my works in progress. I have a couple of things that I'm excited to show you, so let me get that started. And one of these is actually hiding in this box. I actually have two finished objects. I thought I only had one. I just remembered I have two. So the first one is I'm working on a hat, a brioche hat. It's a little small right now. This hat that I'm working on, I actually have a finished version of, so you'll be seeing that later here in the podcast. This is a pattern called Flashpoint, and it is by Elmer Gallum. Anyway, very, very cool brioche patterning here. I'm really enjoying this. This is being knit on a US 5 needle. The pattern calls for a 4, but I did the first one in a 4 and it was a little tight, so I'm going up a needle size. And this is being knit on, I dropped it. The outer one here that's blue and orange, that is fiber for the people in Matchhead, and the inside that's more the greens and darker blues, that is fiber for the people in Seagrass. I got these as a shop update from Taylor, who's the dyer, and I got these, it was a warm and cold update, so I got one of each, and the fiber content is a 100% superwash BFL, blue-faced Leicester, which is... There's 200 and I have a ball band in here, I think. 246 yards for 100 grams. It is a DK weight. So very, very beautiful, very fun. The first one only took me a couple days. This is going to take me a little longer because now I'm focusing on a couple of other projects. But yeah, really, really fun project. Really excited about this. You'll be seeing the finished one here in a few minutes. The second work in progress is a pattern by a good friend of mine. Her name is Ura, but you would know her on Instagram as Knitboop. And this is called the Bojagi shawl. And so I wanted to read a little bit about this. Bojagi is the Korean word for a square fabric wrapper. These wrappers were traditionally used to carry lunch boxes and dowry boxes. Nowadays, they're used to ornately wrap important gifts with special care given to the embroidery and tying technique. The lace motif of this shawl is based on the most traditional tying technique in which the corners are tied together like a small flower. You can choose to knit this shawl with just 2 colors, or you can choose different colors for every section, getting the most out of your yarn scraps. With some math and creativity, you can also add more mixed and matched sections to your project. So the box would be this little bit of mosaic that's right here. It's a really, really simple pattern. I'm actually really enjoying knitting this. So I'm in the first mosaic section. So it goes garter, mosaic, lace, mosaic, garter. So I'm in the first of the mosaics. So here we are. This is how far I've gotten so far. It's a fingering weight shawl, and I am using Spargur Yarn Co. in SoCal in war paint, and then this brown is actually just a one-of-a-kind leftover dye skein. So it's a brown that's got these beautiful undertones of like pinks and blues. It's a really, really beautiful color. I wouldn't be able to replicate it because I just created it by dumping extra dye in a pot. So both of these are my hand dyed, and I'm on the second repeat of this section. So you repeat this section for a total of 2 repeats, and then you do the first 16 rows again before you start the lace. So this is a really simple mosaic slip stitch. I'm really, really enjoying working on this. I did this much in 2 days and did a lot of it in an airport while I was waiting to come home. This is being knit on my US 6s on, I believe, a 22-inch cable. So yeah, I think that's absolutely gorgeous. I'm really enjoying how this is coming out. I've never done any kind of mosaic patterning at all, so this is a really, really, really fun pattern. I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out. I haven't done a whole lot of lace knitting other than just simple eyelets in a while, so I'm really excited to get to that section and just kind of see how all of these stitches create the lace section. Also, a lot of the people who knit this pattern they chose like 2 speckled or 2 variegated yarns, and so the lace section doesn't really pop in a way that I like. So I'm hoping that because I'm going to use more of a tonal yarn, I'm going to be able to see the lace a little bit better. And I'm also using a high twist yarn. That brown is a little bit of a higher twist. It's a 2-ply, and that is supposed to give better stitch definition. So I'm really looking forward to finishing the lace just so I can see how this yarn works with the lace patterning in this. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. I started that over this weekend while I was out. I know that when I get to the lace section, I do have to go down to US 5s. So the larger needles are for the garter and the smaller needles are for the lace. And I think that's just to make sure, because the lace will block out pretty large. So I think that's just to keep everything confined so that when it blocks, the lace section isn't just going whoo. I have had that happen on a couple shawls before. So again, really excited about that. That's called Bojagi by Knit Boop. That is a free pattern on Ravelry, and I'm going to try to remember to link all of the things that I'm talking about either in the video description box below or in some sort of format to where you can see everything I'm talking about. But yeah, keep your eyes out for that shawl on Ravelry. It's a really beautiful shawl, and if you've never done anything with mosaic knitting before, this is a great introduction. So now I have a couple of finished objects. I thought I only had one, but I just found one in this tub, which I'm gonna move this. It's like right under my elbow. Okay, so my first finished object is the first Flashpoint hat I knit. And so this is using the fiber for the people yarn as well. The pattern calls for, you only really need like 30 grams of each DK weight ball, so you can get easily 2 or 3 hats out of the same 2 balls of yarn. Now that being said, they give you the option for slouchy versus fitted. It's not dry yet. They give you the option for slouchy versus fitted, and I did the slouchy, but again, I did it on needles that were too small, so I'm going up a needle size. I'm going to increase the length of the brim, and I'm also going to add a repeat, because I like really slouchy hats. Once I gained weight in my face, I found that slouchy hats just kind of balanced everything out. If I wear a tight fitted beanie, I look weird. So I'm going to add an additional inch to the brim, which is just simple brioche around the brim, and then this is 3 repeats. I'm going to do 4 before I do the decreases. And now I really like this hat because it decreases in pattern, so you don't have this weird section of wondering how you're going to get from the pattern to the decrease and if it's going to just look kind of boring or plain. The designer did a really great job of decreasing in pattern so that you don't have to worry about that. It looks really, really nice. It reminds me a lot of fire, which would make sense because a flashpoint, I think, is it's a firefighting term for like if you open a door. Oh no, that's called a flashover. I don't know. But it's really, really pretty, and I love the colors that I chose simply because the outside does look like flames, and the inside is just a really nice, subtle blues and greens. Not all of my ends are woven in yet. I will do that as soon as it is dry. But again, this was knit on US 4s. I did a 16-inch circular until I got to the decreases, and then I switched to magic loop. And I blocked it when I got home yesterday. So, yeah, I'm doing, you saw the beginnings of the second one of these. I should have that done soon, I hope. The second finished object is, last podcast I had started a shawl that I wanted to have done before Stitches West, or Stitches SoCal, and I'm happy to say I actually got it done. And here it is. So I started over here at this point, and I continued. And so kind of here at the midpoint is when I started decreasing the number of rows each color got. And I did eventually run out of yarn in most of these colors, so I kept just having to find extra little skeins to add in. So there's actually 5 different dyers yarns in here. So this variegated brown at the tip and here, that is Spargur Yarn Co. and Echoes of the Mojave. The blue is from Knit Crate. It's their Knitology. It's a single ply fingering weight. This solid brown is Copper Cloud from Leading Men Fiber Arts. The crazy variegated colorway in here, that is Left Coast Dye Works, the dyers Crisp Balls of Knitting Tree LA. It's a yarn store in LA. And then the last blue here at the very end is from Dizzy Blonde Studios in the colorway Ice Queen or Kate. And so yeah, I did this, and it has this lovely, see how close I can get here, this lovely kind of mosaic look here where you knit one, slip one with yarn in front, and then put the yarn back and knit the next one. It's kind of like doing an Eye of Partridge heel, except that instead of slipping with the yarn in back, you slip it with it in front. And I think it looks great in both variegated and in solids. It's just a really nice, it's a dense fabric as well. And so I just continued that. And what I really like is when you get to like this here, where one color is in front of the other color. I hope you all can see that. It's a really, really cool thing that I came up with. I really like it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh this shawl, find out what the weight is, you know, how many grams it is, and try to figure out how many skeins of yarn it would need, because I do actually want to write this pattern out, but I want to do it with just 2 colors. I think it would be a really cool way to just knit with contrasting colors. So I'm gonna measure it out, try to figure out how many yards I need, and then maybe do some kits in the future with my dyeing company. So yeah, this was knit on US 5s, and it took me about 2 weeks pretty diligently working on it. So pretty quick knit. It doesn't require a lot of the lace. There's not really any eyelets. It's basically just knitting. It's knit one, slip one, purl back, and then garter. So I wanted to make it as simple but as fun and cute as possible. All right, so now let's move on to my favorite part of this podcast today, and that is going to be my Stitches SoCal haul. It's not huge. I went with a budget, and I actually stayed under budget, and I'm very pleased with that. So the great thing about Stitches is sometimes the vendors will discount things either on the first day or on the last day. So if you really kind of make a list of what you want and kind of see what's happening, you can walk away with some pretty cool deals, and I did. That being said, if you run across something that it's like the last of something and you're just like, if I've never used this or I really want this, I ran into that once during this show, so I went ahead and got it on like Friday or something, because I knew if I didn't it would be gone. But we'll get to that. Another thing, after SoCal was over and we were headed back to LA to take me to the airport, we did stop by the Knitting Tree LA, which is about 2 miles from the airport. and went in there, and I also made a couple of purchases there. The brioche hat, my roommate wants it in green, and so when I stopped into the shop, I actually found that Leading Men Fiber Arts had some yarn there at Knitting Tree LA. This beautiful, beautiful skein, which is dark greens, light greens, different greens, and then some grays. It's called Mother Earth. It's a DK weight, which is what I need for this hat. Then I'm going to pair it with this Cascade 220 Superwash Merino in a gray. So I can make this hat for her. I think she's really going to like these. I showed her the yarn yesterday, and she really liked it, so... Yeah, Leading Men Fiber Arts in Mother Earth DK weight. It's such a beautiful skein. I'm not a huge fan of greens personally for me, but I know a lot of people are, so I picked that up. My friend Izzy gave me a llama chocolate advent calendar. So come December 1st, I'll be eating chocolate every day because my friend Izzy is awesome. There's plastic on this, so I don't know how much of this like has a glare or not. Anyway, yeah, it kind of got opened in transit because it had to go in my checked luggage, but boom. Okay, one of the other things I got, I'm moving some stuff around, is this t-shirt hoodie from Neighborhood Fiber Co. And it just says community, I believe. Yeah, community, and it's got pictures of, you know, hands with different skin tones holding a ball of yarn. It just, I just really liked this image, the message, so I really liked that, and I wanted to get the shirt. I just thought it was a nice thing to have. Also, I didn't have anything long sleeved, and I kind of needed something long sleeved, so I kind of killed two birds with one stone while I was there, because it actually did get kind of cold on one or two of the nights while we were there. So beautiful, beautiful shirt. I think you can actually get this still on their website, which is neighborhoodfiberco.com. So you could check there for their shirt listings. They also have pins, and then of course, being a fiber company, they have yarn and fiber and everything else. Really cool company. I really liked their booth. Really cool people. Really enjoyed what they had set up at the show. Then, another thing from my friend Izzy is this Stitch Studio by Nicole. It is called Cotton Colors. It's this beautiful fingering weight gradient. And we were thinking about doing some sort of knit along with this. So he has one, and then he gave one to me and another friend of ours. The thing I like about this is that in the ball, they actually have like a start. It's called an easy start. So they actually tape something on to the beginning of so if you're going to do center pull, they tape something so that you can find the middle without having to pull out all the yarn barf. Really, really cool. I've actually been eyeing something like this for a while, so I'm really happy that Izzy gave it to me. And Izzy was awesome. Izzy and Rafa, they're my two friends. They're the people I go to fiber shows with. They are probably some of my best friends in the world. And Izzy always finds something cool to give us, and he always takes care of us. He's just this really cool guy, and I'm really happy to know him and have him as a friend. So thank you, Izzy, for this. I will find something to do with it. Let's see, what next? So kind of in that same realm, I went to the pajama party hosted by Marley Bird, and I won It's a Wrap from Red Heart. It's one of those gradient cakes. Beautiful, beautiful cake. No idea what I would use this for, but there's a lot of really cool patterns out there for yarns just like this. So these are really nice neutral colors. I'm really excited to use this at some point in the future. I just don't know what I'm going to use it for yet. Might design something with it. I don't know. Okay. So now I have a couple of like smaller things that I got. Let me get them out. Okay. I think the rest of that is business cards. So, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world is, her name's Christy, and she is the jewelry maker behind Birdie Parker Designs. I actually helped set up her booth at Stitches SoCal, and she was very, very kind enough to give me a shawl cuff for helping her. And this shawl cuff has an etched engraving of double crochets. So they're not like a perfect replica, but you know, this with anything that's art, you take it and kind of make it your own. So these are double crochets engraved on here. Love this. And in future videos, I'll show you how to style a shawl cuff if you haven't used one before. But they are so cool and such a great way to keep your shawls on you without having to worry about it slowly coming undone. And it increases the versatility of how you can wear your shawls. So, got this. But then also to show my support, I got a bracelet that has the stockinette stitch engraving on it. And this is in sterling silver. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bracelet. I love this. I'm so happy that I chose to get it. Her stuff is a little pricey, but I think it's absolutely worth it. It's all hand engraved. It's beautiful metals. Like, this is sterling silver. This was $70 for the wrist cuff. But it's sterling silver, so it's a really great metal. It's going to last a long time. She's got so many cool things. A lot of earrings. If you love to wear earrings, there's these beautiful, beautiful earrings. You definitely need to check her out. It's birdieparker.com. It's beautiful. You're definitely going to love anything that you get from her. I also have a pendant that's a yarn ball that I wear regularly. She actually gave me a replacement chain for it. And now that I think about it, where did that go? Found it. Okay. It's in the bottom of that bag. Anyway, she was sharing a booth with this woman named Susan, who has this company called Shiny Wear Co. And she does like knitting inspired t-shirts and stickers and pins and flasks. So I got one of the flasks and it says, "I drink, therefore I tink." I just thought that was hilarious, considering one of the big things that happens at Stitches is that people will leave the show after the marketplace closes, and then they're going out and getting a drink, or they're going to one of the bars, or like they're going to the hotel lobby bar. There's a lot of alcohol consumption at these, not usually to the extent of like being like drunk, but people will get a nice buzz going. And it's just, I think that's hilarious. I drink, therefore I tink. So I picked up one of these. It's really cute, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun. But Shiny Wear Co. has some really cute shirts, like an octopus that's knitting. Actually, she gave me a sticker. Maybe. Nope, that's something different. Why do I have so many business cards? I was collecting business cards so frequently over the weekend. I think they're in like 4 different places right now. Anyway, she's got a lot of really cool stuff. Link should be in the video description box below. Check it out. Really cool stuff. Another thing I got is this Lolo bar. I've heard that these are actually a lot of people know this company. They're very familiar with this moisturizer. So it's a Lolo bar, and you take it, out, and of course you take these pieces off. But then like you get out of the shower, and then you just like rub it all over. But then you don't rub it in, you allow your skin to absorb it, and then it's supposed to lock the moisture in for like 24 hours. So if you just have like dry hands like I do, like dry hands and elbows, I would just put it on my hands and elbows after I get out of the shower and let it absorb, and it'll keep my hands dry, or keep my hands moisturized for the day. So my friend Izzy pointed this out when I was at the show. I didn't know about this company at all, but I'm glad that I found them. This scent is called Edward, and just makes me think of sparkly vampires. No, it smells great. It's a wonderful, wonderful smell, and I'm excited to be using this in the future. I didn't use it yet, but I will now that I've shown it. One of the other things I got is this Stitch Saver from Stunning String Studio. Stunning String Studio is an incredible company. They have an incredible story. She basically started out on Etsy like 10 years ago or something, and just as like a simple small batch hand dyer, and now she has just this incredible business. She's always like the first booth at Stitches. Like when you walk in the entrance, she's right there. They have so many kits and patterns, and they're a company that they actually don't do like speckling or anything like that. They're all tonals, but they're so good at their job that they can get this exact same shade of color on all of their bases, on all of the weights. And it's so well done that you almost don't need to alternate skeins when knitting with her yarn. It's that precise. I mean, obviously you would still want to, because you never know when something's going to be weird. But no, it's crazy how just mathematically precise her dyeing is, and it blows me away. But anyway, I got this. It's a cute little stitch saver. It's got a heart. It's a keychain. It was cute. It was like $6. So, oh, that's the other thing. Her prices are incredibly affordable. Like, I think her MCN is $26. So, yeah, this was just really cute. I was picking up a needle because I didn't have a US 5 16-inch circular, and I needed it to start the next hat. So I saw that, and then I saw this, and I was like, okay, I'll get that too. So that's what I did. And then I did get some yarn. Oh, Duke is here. No, go. There's stuff up here. You can't be up here. Okay. So I'm going to show the yarn, but this booth had a mother-daughter, and the mother is Christy of Yarn Cafe Creations, and her daughter is Alaska, and she has a company called Elixir of Alaska, gourmet treats for all seasons, and that's etsy.com/shop/Elixir of Alaska, video or link in the video description box below. She makes jellies and syrups. This one is called Santa's Cider. It was like $8, I think, for this, and it's just so it is Christmas. It's just Christmas. It's delicious. And I actually got to taste it while I was there. Delicious jellies. They are incredible. And all of the proceeds of the sale of her jellies are so that she can take her son to Disneyland. I think that's like his Christmas wish or something like that. She has a 5-year-old son, and she wants to take him to Disneyland for Christmas. And I just... Her son, she showed us pictures. Her son is like the cutest little thing. And so I went ahead and got a jelly because also it's just incredible. So, yeah, I got that. And then while I was there, I did grab a skein of Yarn Cafe Creations. This colorway is called Undercurrent. It's like a beautiful navy. It is a fingering weight. It's 85 superwash merino, 15 nylon. It is 4-ply fingering weight, 437 yards to 100 grams. Yarn Cafe Creations is beautiful. Christy is incredible. She lives just over in Utah. Her daughter is Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarn. You may have seen Tristan's designs on Ravelry. They actually hit #1 over the weekend. She had like 2 sweaters that hit #1 on Hot Right Now on Ravelry. So that was really, really cool. But they both podcast, and they podcast together. It's called The Girls in the Yarn Cafe. And they call each of their episodes like 37th Cup, 39th Cup, 43rd Cup. Really, really cute. I love their podcast. I love them. They're wonderful people. So yeah, Yarn Cafe Creations picked up a skein of this just because I have trouble getting navy to dye the way I want it to. So I wanted this in my stash for when I really want a navy, and for when I haven't figured out how to do it exactly yet. But it's so pretty. It's so pretty, and it's so soft. I think we might actually use the same base on that, but I wanted to get that. One of my other yarn purchases was from a company called Knitted Kneil. I met Kneil. He's very nice. He dyes this in like a sock blank gradient. And this is inspired by his trip to Cozumel, Mexico. Gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. It was like $22. So he really likes his hand-dyed yarns to be accessible to as many people as possible, which I thought was amazing. He does not yet have an online store. All of his yarns are sold through Artisan Space, which used to be Needle Points West in LA, but they decided to rebrand and they closed their brick and mortar store, so now they are a show-only store. That's how they do their store now, is they do shows like Stitches SoCal and Stitches West and stuff. So I picked this up. It's beautiful. I think my friend Izzy and Rafa also picked some up, and I think we're going to do some sort of knit along with this as well. Very, very beautiful. Kneil is so cool, and I actually learned a little bit about some of his dyeing techniques and things that he does and where he gets his inspiration when he's dyeing. I got to see a lot of his colorways that he hasn't released yet. It was a really fun experience, really cool guy to talk to, really nice. You can follow him on Instagram as Knitted Kneil, and Kneil is spelled Kneil. Really cool stuff. You should check him out. He's really cool. Then I got Lazer sheep yarns. This colorway is called Sheep of Azkaban. So last year at Stitches SoCal, I ran into Lazer sheep yarns. No, last year at West, I ran into Lazer sheep yarns. And she dyes a colorway based on the cover art of each of the Harry Potter books. I missed the Sorcerer's Stone or the Sorcerer's Sheep or whatever she called it. But I did get the Chamber of Sheep crits, or the Chamber of Sheep. And then, so this is the third one, the Sheep of Azkaban. She does one a year, and when they're out, they're out. But this was also in a wool I've never used. It's Rambouillet fingering weight. It is 100% US raised and milled Rambouillet wool. It's 450 yards to 100 grams. It is fingering weight. It is not superwash, so it will felt if I'm not careful. But it's so lightweight and lofty. Like, it's 450 yards, but I feel like I'm not holding anything. It's so lightweight. Beautiful, beautiful colorway. I'm probably going to hold on to the Harry Potter colorways that I get from her and wait until I'm able to collect them all. And then I'll figure out something to do with all of them. But yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous colorway. It's so interesting to see the inspiration that people come up with from different things and how they interpret that onto a skein of yarn. So I'm really excited to use this. Now, okay, one of my other purchases came from this wonderful person. His company is called Newton's Yarn Country. Every year he goes to the Stitches shows. He has a really weird story too. He used to work for this milling company or something like that, and he's been a dyer for 52 years. When the company went under, or I don't exactly remember what the story was, but he ended up with all of their back stock. And so now he sells it at discounted prices. Things like cones of 8,000 yards of cashmere nylon, beautiful yarn, all fingering weight. But he starts out at 30% off on Thursday, and then by Sunday it's 70% off. But he also sells undyed yarn. So I got two of these. This is single ply, worsted weight, superwash wool, 1,250 yards per skein. This is one continuous piece of yarn. One continuous piece of yarn. So I got two of them. So I got 2,500 yards for $58. And I am going to dye these as a beautiful solid or tonal. And then I'm going to knit a sweater. Or I'm going to knit a sweater and then dye the sweater. I don't know yet. But this was just so pretty. It's soft. It's not drying my hands out. I've never dyed a single ply before, so I thought this was a good opportunity. There is one place in here where it looks like the ply is coming undone, but I can fix that. This is just beautiful. It's beautiful. So if I undo it, that's one skein of yarn right there. Huge, beautiful, gorgeous, fun. Now, where's that spot I was looking at a minute ago? Here it is. So it's almost a kind of a boucle in a way, because pieces of the yarn are thinner in some places and thicker in others. This can be spit spliced back together. Yeah, just ripped a little bit. I'll fix it. Anyway, I'm going to dye this. I'm not really sure how yet, but I will. I'm going to dye it and knit a sweater with it. So 2 of those. And the last thing I got was something I debated on for a little bit. But I loved my needle case from Erin Lane, which is this right here. But as I started getting more needles, things kept falling out of it because it's not protected on either side. So I was actually losing like needle tips out the side of it. It just got bulky, and I didn't like carrying that around because it just felt like everything was just not organized. So Jimmy Bean's Wool was at SoCal, and they had everything that they have from Namaste, and it was there. They had this beautiful needle folio. So I got it. In the back, there's a place for your smaller notions, but inside you have a place for needles and more in the back. But then inside you have all these sleeves, and it comes with stickers so that you can label all of the sleeves with your needle sizes. And then each sleeve you can keep your needles, like your fixed circulars or your like in the front here, like these are all the cables for the thinner tips. These are all the cables for the thicker tips. And then I start in on the zeros. And actually the one that's in the zero is technically a double zero. But I love this case. Everything's very organized. I know where everything is. If I need, a US 2 for socks, all right here, or a 2.5 even right there. Love this case. It was $60, and I thought that was worth it. It's a beautiful pleather. It's not leather, it's pleather. But beautiful, beautiful case. Several of the people, while I was looking at these, I met several people who have one, and they were like, I've had it for a year, it's held up great, no problems, no issues, gorgeous product. If you're thinking of getting it, definitely recommend it. So this is going to be my needle case from now on, just because I keep getting more needles, and this is just going to be easier for me to keep everything together. So yeah, I actually have more needles like laying around the house that will eventually end up in here as well. Yeah. So I think that's my entire haul from Stitches. Again, I was under budget, which was good. And I'm really happy that in terms of buying yarn, I only bought 3 skeins. I was gifted or won a couple of other things, but I didn't really add to the stash too badly this time, which is good. I feel good about that. And also I bought some yarn that I know I'm going to be casting on here very soon. So, yeah. Anyway. With that being said, I'm not going to have a giveaway just because I just got home, last night, and I'm still trying to figure out where everything's going. Mind is kind of in 1,000 places. I don't know if you can tell that watching this podcast. But so we're not gonna do a giveaway this week, but I do want to let Tracy Roberts know. Tracy, you won the giveaway from last podcast, and I haven't heard from you yet. So Tracy Roberts, please get in contact with me with your mailing address. I want to ship out that Madeline Tosh yarn to you as soon as possible. If I don't hear from you by next podcast, I will draw a different name and give it to somebody else. So that'll probably be in another 2 weeks. That's about a 6-week window on trying to let you know that you won. So yeah, by next podcast, Tracy, I need to hear from you, or I will have to give the giveaway to someone else. Anyway, that being said, I don't have any life updates because pretty much Stitches SoCal is, my life updates. So with that being said, check the video description box below for all of the different makers that I talked about. I promise I'm going to try to list all of them. If for some reason I forget one, please let me know in the comments so that I can add that link in there just in case you want to check something out. And then check back here very soon. I have a knit crate video that I need to post, and I'm also going to be filming a couple tutorials coming up on just some little thingies here and there. So check back for those here soon on this channel. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and then that little bell so that you're notified every time that I upload a video. And I will see you all again very soon here on the Spargur Yarn Crafts podcast channel. Thanks. Bye.